It's always needed.
Oh, maybe it's Brucey that's going to do it.
Trying to give chase, and check this out from Gargan King.
And the side-by-side into, look, here comes Darren Kelly. He is right on the bumper of Adam Davies.
It's time for round 2 of the 2021 Valvoline D1NZ Drifting Championship, and this weekend we are in friendly fielding at Manfeild Circuit Chris Amon, where teams throw some setup at the cars and lengthen up the diff ratios as the drivers pluck some gears on the fast-flowing camber that Manfeild is renowned for. It's a rolling start for round 2. The judges will be looking for an outside line to start the course, full throttle through to the first outside zone 1. We call it an outside zone, but this is where both the nose and the tail of the car need to be through the transition onto the next inside clip on the left hand side. Cutting across clipping zone 2, the cars will power full throttle over to a left side preferred line, transitioning onto outside zone 3, a late outer clip which sets up a big aggressive switch onto turn 5 here at Manfeild, where the cars will ride the camber and set the car up for that final inside apex on the left hand side of the track. A really tricky part of the drift course once it comes to the battle phase of the competition, and as history has shown here, there will be big points won and lost as we get into the tandem phase of competition. Our judging lineup for the weekend will see Brendan Dunker step into the line judge seat, filling in for Mark O'Hara, who is away this weekend. 35 points up for grabs, a former D1NZ series judge and a technical advisor. He's cut plenty of laps in all sorts of machinery over the years, and he's been serving as the judges coordinator for the last few seasons. Two-time Drift South champion Joel Counter is back as angle judge. The former D1NZ pro driver based out of Christchurch will oversee 35 points in qualifying. Check out Oversteer Motorsport on the social and see some of his handiwork behind the wheel of his V8 powered S14. Our final judge for the weekend is organiser of the NZ Drift Matsuri, heading to Hampton Downs for the first time in just a few weeks, Chris Howard, a former Pro Sport Series driver with 30 points to dish out. And that is your track rundown and judges lineup for the weekend, round 2 of the Valvoline D1NZ Drifting Championship Series. The D1NZ 2021 competition format sees 3 judging officials take the helm in race control, overlooking the 3 major scoring criteria: line, angle and style. Together they form a score out of 100. Line is a predetermined racing line the drivers need to navigate. This is marked out by scoring areas called clipping points. Drivers need to hit these scoring zones to score a maximum of 35 points for each pass. Angle is how much rear slip angle a car produces. Each driver has 35 points available for maintaining as much angle as possible throughout the drift course. Style is a combination of throttle control, handbrake application, car speed, and the overall fluidity of each run, with 30 points up for grabs. Teams have 2 laps in qualifying to start the competition. The driver with the best score takes pole position, with the top 8 drivers securing a spot in the top 16. From here, the competition moves into the battle phase, forming a seeded battle tree, battling through the top 16, the top 8, the top 4, and through to the finals. The battle phase of the competition sees each driver scored on a lead and chase run. The lead driver's objective is to set or better their performance in qualifying, while the chase driver's objective is to get as close as possible to the leading car, using it as a mobile clipping point. The chase driver needs to emulate or better the lead car's run while also maintaining the original scoring criteria. The 3 judging officials will then decide the winner by a majority decision. If it's a draw, they'll call an OMT, where the cars will battle one more time for sudden death. Drivers also need to be mindful of penalties while competing out on the track. Points deductions are handed out for 1 or 2 wheels off track, spinning out, straight lining the course, or making contact with the walls or the other car. One thing's for certain though, rubbing is racing. Each driver has 1 competition timeout available to use during the battle phase of the competition. This can only be used once and gives teams a chance at servicing their car in pit lane. And that is how it's done for the 2021 season of the Valvoline D1NZ Drifting Championship Series.
Highlights of the Valvoline D1NZ National Drifting Championship round number 1 were on fire for the harder racing GTR pilot Darren Kelly moving to the top spot in qualifying.
Great to see Darren back behind the wheel after a short hiatus. Contact galore at round 1. Mount Smart was a bit of a concrete jungle and there was plenty of contact all around.
As we see Russell Veer hit the concrete, Liam Burke, the current 1NZ, following suit.
Sean Potros, the Potros effect, certainly smashing clips all day in the Pro Sports Series, then jumped in the wildcard position for the Pro Championship the next day, tagging the wall in his battle against Michael Thorley, the rear end getting rearranged there on his WTT S14.
Well, off they went again, and we can see Michael Thorley this time chucking 2 wheels off, throwing a huge advantage to the machine of... Oh, and there it goes again, a big crunch with the concrete, and that would send Sean Potros through to the next round.
Michael Thorley having a tough day at the office in his 180 SX. Adam Camplin, another one of those Pro Sport wildcard drivers, taking on the likes of Adam Davies. You'll see here George Myberg back in the game as well, just stacking on too much angle. And Darren Kelly was also knocked out by none other than Bruce Tannock in his immaculate two-tone S13.
A couple of GT86s out there. Troy Jenkins going up against Kurt Blackie. Blackie got stuck in a haze of smoke, and that would send Troy Jenkins through.
Andrew Redwood, another driver, back behind the wheel, taking on New Zealand 2020 champion Liam Burke. Unfortunately, he was battling a lot of issues with the suspension. It went OMT though, and despite those suspension issues, Liam just couldn't quite get the car to handle how he wanted it to. Andrew Redwood will end up progressing through to the next bracket.
Gargan King having a great battle again with Sean Potros. Potros, of course, moving up from the Pro Sport Championship.
Damon Templeman dropping wheels in his battle against Taylor James. Taylor James back in the action with a 3.2 litre engine. He had a few little dramas with the car, but certainly stacking on plenty of angle and putting the power down in that S14. And the likes of Ben Jenkins in the 857, another driver with a brand new refreshed package underneath him and just relishing and loving that Carter's Tyres machine, taking on Dave Steedman. Dan Woolhouse was another driver just putting on fantastic runs throughout the night, but Adam Davies unfortunately over-rotating. He thought Fanger was going to go into the wall. Fanger managed to hold it down, and this is the time of the night where the things started to get really slippery. You'll see there Scott Dinsdale stacking on plenty of angle, heading into the turn 2 outer zone.
Well, temperature became a big thing. It was a big issue, as you've just mentioned, and as the track temps came down, the cars started to slip and side. Ben Jenkins going up against Toto's Dave Steedman as they come through the teardrop section at Mount Smart, round 1, the Valvoline D1NZ.
Some fantastic battling all night for the opening round at Mount Smart. And what a round to start with the concrete jungle. And you'll see here on board our FPV drone, just some fantastic battling all night. Bruce Tannock, Troy Jenkins. And Tannock, he's sort of like got some form back in, and Troy Jenkins just unfortunately stacking on way too much there, spinning out. And Redwood, again, just the Californian Kiwi and the Angle King for many years, taking on the likes of Gargan Kang.
A great round for Gargan Kang, managed to get himself all the way through, but Redwood, he's certainly got the bit between the teeth. He's out there to prove himself, and of course took the victory through to the next round.
These tight concrete jungles just provide these really gnarly side-by-side tandem battles, and there was just so much ducking, diving and weaving and OMTs galore from the judges. It was just some immaculate driving all night long. These two boys, Ben Jenkins, Taylor James, absolutely putting on a stunning show.
You can see the power of these two cars. Of course, Taylor James running 2 in the championship last year. Fanger Dan Woolhouse going up against the V12 of Jaron Olafrona. Fanger absolutely nailing it in the Mustang.
The V8 taking on that V12, and it was the V8 that would emerge the victor, with Fanger Dan moving through the competition ladder. And these two old dogs, Bruce Tannock and Andrew Redwood, battling for a place in the final, the top 4, and Andrew Redwood just gave him a clean sweep.
Powering out again, it became a battle of tyres. Bruce thought he had them, but Andrew Redwood said, no, check out my Nankangs. Well, top 4 action, and it was Dan Woolhouse in the Century Batteries Mustang going up against Ben Jenkins in the 857 GT86. Jenkins has been driving his bottom off this weekend and certainly wanting to get one up on the man that used to be his hero.
Jenkins moving through to the final, which put Fanger into the battle for 3rd and 4th against Bruce Tannick, a couple of old dogs. And certainly not sleepy old dogs. They've certainly got plenty of talent still behind the wheel. Dan, a 2-time former champion, trying to close the door and get up on that rear quarter. Didn't quite get there though, but he got enough in the points decision to take 3rd place for the night, and a hell of a burnout at the end of the night as well.
Well, forget the rest, you've got the best, and this was the final of the Valvoline D1NZ National Drifting Championship, round number 1, Mount Smart Stadium. Andrew Redwood taking on Ben Jenkins.
Andrew Redwood was certainly it's a quick, agile little car, that V8 powered FC RX-7. He would emerge the victor for the night, taking the top spot, taking the honours, and it was flames aplenty as Auckland Mount Smart Stadium hosted round 1 of the 2021 D1NZ National Drifting Championship Series.
Well, we're down here now. The man who finished on the top spot at round number 1 at Mount Smart Stadium, Andrew Redwood. What a fantastic result for you.
Yeah, it was. It was good to come back after being out of the seat for a little while and cleaning up with a round win. I really enjoyed the track, and it was fun, battling on the tight technical track, and everyone else has really stepped up too. So yeah, it was good fun. You're
starting to turn into a bit of an expert, essentially, with the concrete jungles. You've done really well at Bay Park at the past, and of course Mount Smart a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that Waimate, it's just fun driving those tight little short courses, and yeah, my car is kind of suited to that, short wheelbase and not a huge amount of power, so it does really well in nimble courses like that.
One of the other things, of course, that you've done in the off-season is become a dad.
Yeah, it is something that we've done that's definitely right up there. So yeah, it's cool. I actually got her here today, so a little 8-month-old girl checking out Dad race for the first time, which is awesome.
How's the car feeling? Are you ready to go out there and essentially try and go back-to-back?
Yeah, well, funny thing is, Mount Smart, we didn't get practice because we blew a diff, and now we just blown a clutch, so we didn't get practice this morning, went straight into qualifying, and now it's just vibrating quite badly with our spare that we had from a few years ago, so we'll just do what we can, running out of wheel speed and a few other issues, but yeah, we'll battle.
Qualifying's obviously a huge part of it, but of course coming into battle, is that something you actually something you enjoy doing?
Yeah, battling's definitely what we come here to do. Qualifying kind of just fills the gap for us. Yeah.
Well, Mount Smart, it's been pretty good for you. I guess this one here, I guess it's anyone's game.
It is. Yep.
Valvoline D1NZ National Drifting Championship Series live from Manfeild Circuit Chris Amon, and we have just seen qualifying out there. Let's go and have a look through some of the highlights. There's George Myberg in the Waikato Times S14, the Berserker. Of course, Dane and Templeman in the E46 BMW, Kenny.
Yeah, all sorts of action in the qualifying session. Just touching on Daneham, he has actually just put the car on the trailer. Unfortunately, something has gone wrong. So there's going to be some news updates as we fire through some of these qualifying highlights. The Team DSR boys were here on Friday getting some extra testing time, and Liam Burke, our current New Zealand champion, down the order. Oh no, he was down the order in the first half, and he bumped back up in the second run of qualifying up into P4. Dave Steedman putting on a pretty solid drive to find himself inside the top 10, I think.
Kurt Blackie in the GT86 by the Cave, certainly throwing on a bit of angle through as he came through. 62.5 for 11th position for him.
This car here on screen is going to be double stinted here this weekend. It's Scott Dinsdale and Taylor James both sharing the real estate with Pauline Dinsdale S13. So Taylor behind the wheel of a 2JZ. This man was just setting fantastic laps all through practice, and yeah, Darren Kelly took top qualifier in Mount Smart, the opening round of the season, and he very much so did it again here this weekend.
Back to back with an 87.5. 86 was the one we just saw. Here comes Bruce Tannick, another person that mentioned podium last round. Fanger Dan as well.
Fanger Dan certainly loving being back behind the wheel of the Roush Yates 900 horsepower pro machine, if you want. So the other car's quite pretty pro anyway. So.
Who's got two Mustangs? Fanger Dan does. Andrew Redwood, he went to the top shelf at round number 1. Didn't qualify as much as high as he would have liked to have, but said to us earlier on in the show, he's pretty keen to go out and battle.
Andrew Redwood, certainly one of those fast, agile drivers in that chassis, that FC RX-7. Jesse Greenslade was setting some pretty good runs through much of the course, but he got marked down in a few different areas. And Michael Thorley in the NZ 180SX, he just won Drift South yesterday down at Levels Raceway in Timaru.
Got on a plane, flew up and set himself a score. A few issues for this car here, of course. That's the Case Pull and Bury machine, and I think that one was campaigned by Russell Veer.
George Myberg back in action.
So Myberg certainly berserking it with that berserker. Of course, one of the Team DSR Mimico Napa Auto Parts machines. Here comes the 87.5 point run. This is Darren Kelly who's scorched it. Scotty D
just filling that outer zone.
He came close.
I mean, the clipping point layout here is really challenging this weekend. It's similar to how we ran it a couple of seasons ago. We haven't been here in sort of 2 or 3 years, so the judges certainly providing a really challenging layout, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the tandems play out, because of course when you move into the tandem phase of competition, if the lead car's got to set or better their performance in qualifying, and the lead car's got to follow, it's got to emulate, and if they drop back, they've got that option of sticking to that judges line as well. You've got to use the lead car as a mobile clipping point, so there's so much to think about as a driver in one of these pro drift machines.
Well, let's have a look at the top 8. Michael Thorley in the NZ machine. He came through, I think, 8th position, was it? No, 9th position for Thorley. And so from here, that's, of course, the Team Jenkins, the Carter's Tyres GT86s. So Ben Jenkins behind the wheel. So Ben Jenkins certainly enjoying himself out here. Here comes Adam Davies, the 20B rotary machine, absolutely singing a song. And 8th position was what a workout for Adam Davies.
He went for a big back here. This must have been his second run
of the
because
day.
He really tried to back it in and up on clipping point 3. Didn't work for him. He just
So that's your 5th place, man. It's Vangerdan Woolhouse and the Century Batteries, Castro, New Zealand. Mustang, the RTR, absolutely on song again. Another man looking forward to going battling today. 5th place for Vanger.
such a fast-flowing circuit here at Manfeild, and setting the cars up to ride the bumps and the camber and really get through this this awesome section. And the cars have over the years have picked up in pace. There's more power, there's more grip. These guys are absolutely sending it this weekend.
Well, that's the D1NZ out on track. It is Liam Burke, the animal, and certainly at home behind the wheel of that S13. Well, this is Taylor James in the real estate by Pauline Dinsdale. 4 in rotary S13. Of course, this is Scotty D's car, but Taylor James had issues with the car, the motor off song. So, of course, Scotty D, the guy that he is, says, Taylor, we can share a car.
Yeah, but I mean, that's huge news out of pit lane. And they had a big weekend to get the spare motor together. They had some issues on the dyno, so they had to put the motor together, and so a few late nights. He did a bit of testing, but unfortunately the car had to be put on the trailer today. So Scott Dinsdale, the man
there he is there.
Right there, also setting a great lap. Now put it this way, these guys are sharing the car. They're on both sides of the tree, same side of the tree. They both set P2 and P3 in the same car. Scott Dinsdale going 73.5 and Taylor James going 74.5. So that's going to be real interesting as the battles play out. The heart of racing, R35 GTR, stroked 3.4 litre, straight 6 turbo. This thing is an absolute weapon. It took pole position at round 1 and it has taken pole position again here at Manfeild Raceway. An absolutely blinding run, although a point shy of Mr. David Hunter in Pro Sport yesterday. The Laurel is getting the props from me.
We're here with our pan-haired top qualifier, Darren Kelly, mate. I let you get that, did I? Says I haven't driven this year.
Well, I guess we were always battling for that top spot. But no, it's great to be back at Manfeild, and car's feeling really good. Switched to a new tyre this round, so we're a little bit unsure of what we're going to have to do to set the car up. But done a little bit of testing last week, and seems like we had a pretty good starting point and come out and managed to feel pretty good in qualifying and take number 1 spot.
For sure, man. Well, obviously you got P1 at round 1 as well. How'd that round go as well for you? A few issues. Obviously you caught on fire. You know, it was quite cool.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal going from qualifying first. Unfortunately, the fire had done a little bit of damage to one of the brake cylinders, and then we lost brakes in the top 16. So It didn't end as well as we hoped, but hopefully this weekend we can have a bit of a better run and be on the podium at the end.
Cara's looking very smooth out there, obviously getting comfortable. Different this year, obviously it's only the one day, so you don't get as much practice, but obviously you're picking it up all right, mate.
Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge. It's a new element to competition, having to get it all done, like your setup, any testing, any breakages that you have, things to fix, getting your line sorted, straight into qualifying, straight into battles. So super fast pace, and you just got to really figure it out as early as you can and try to lay it down in qualifying. Yeah,
well, you're doing well, mate, because obviously you've had a few changes, like you said, to the car, and it's looking good. So good luck for out there, but we'll head back up to the boys for the start of the top 24.
It's our first battle up in the left-hand side of the top 24. Russell Vere in the black, missing the panels machine, and Troy Jenkins in the Carters North Shore Toyota Parts GT86. So it's the CK Earthworks machine of Russell Vere, who will set the pace, leading out the first lap of the day here. It's through the Sensium acceleration zone, and then which driver is going to be the first to go? Well, of course, it has to be Russell Vere in this situation, and Troy Jenkins really needed to jump on the back as we enter in for our first battle of the day.
Russell Vere leading out as the higher qualifier in 16th place. Troy Jenkins giving chase here in the Carter's GT86. That car out in front is a Pro Sport machine, so I'm not sure if he's still running 235s on the rear of it.
Troy got lost in it, and I think they've seen a massive straight line. That's going to instantly see a huge advantage, and then another mistake. Troy Jenkins will not be happy in the 856.
Yeah, so a few mistakes there from Troy towards the clips 4 and 5. So they're coming through the Sensium acceleration zone. It's the second pass here for the 856 and 896 of Russell Vere. Troy Jenkins leading out now. He's got perhaps a disadvantage from that first lap.
Out through the Casper transmission sweeper as he leads into this big right-hand outside clip. He's a bit off it at the moment, creating a gap, but it's not going to be enough. If Russell Vere can hold on to his drift, he's got to go through.
Yeah, I mean, Troy certainly setting a very strong lead run there in terms of the battle, in terms of qualifying scoring criteria. He didn't quite fill those zones.
Left for Troy Jenkins, right for Russell Vere, and the judges, Brendan Dunker, Joel Counter, Chris Howard. And Troy's not waiting for it. He's already going to congratulate Russell Vere. A fantastic result. We see thumbs up, we see thumbs down, and we see Cole Armstrong.
Mate, in a borrowed car, you must be pretty stoked, eh?
We've done a couple of laps in this car, and massive thanks to the Pullenberry boys and Case for letting me jump in this. It's been awesome.
As we go through the Sensium acceleration zone, and that's a good opportunity to put the foot down, and that's exactly what Myberg's doing as he comes through Casper.
George Myberg leading out Gargan King, straight 6 turbo, chasing down a stroke LS3 V8 now. Myberg's opened up a bit of a gap here, but then Gargan King perhaps might be just playing things safe in the chase here.
I think one of the questions is how do you open the gap as we fly on board, and you see Gargan really trying to close up the gap, but Myberg's setting a nice pace up front, pulls away. Bit of a to and fro on that one there, Kenny.
A bit of a to and fro on that one.
So of course each of these battles at sea, they take turns at both leading and chasing. At the end of it, we come down to the judge's decision where we will send somebody through into the next round. This is top 24, right-hand side, I think, of the trees. Myberg versus Gargan Kang. So Kang, he's gone for a slower start, sort of balked up. That one might be a bit of tactics. As hard on the gas goes Gargan. Comes through Casper, and you've got to get that inside-outside switch really quick. He's out a little bit slow on it. Couldn't quite drag the rear of the car where we want to see it.
Yeah, interesting start there. You'll see Myberg here trying to get up on the rear quarter now. Washes out a little bit wide in the smoke, but manages to just go for a proximity. He saw the window open up and he took it. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. This potentially could be an OMT.
But here goes the thumbs up, thumbs down moment. Which way is it going to go? Brendan Dunker, Joel Counter, and Chris Howard. 1, 2, 3 strikes.
Yeah,
You're
so
right. I was
unanimous decision there. Gargan King taking the victory.
And this is Andrew Redwood, our round 1 winner from Mount Smart, and Cody Pullenberry. Cody out in the new car.
Yeah, so they had issues in practice and qualifying, so it's good to see them on the line and in battle form here. So let's see what unfolds for Andrew Redwood and Cody Pullenberry. Redwood leading out as the higher qualifier, top 24. Action FC leading out the S15, 2JZ in the rear, V8 out in front.
Well, here comes Cody. Oh, I got...
Oh, Cody's...
okay, that's it.
Cody's backed out of that one, so perhaps issues still continuing. Andrew Redwood just needs to finish the lap here now, and he'll claim a what we call a 10-0 advantage.
As I thought, Cody Pullenbury in the CK Earthworks S15 is making his way back into the pit lane, so that is going to be our first potential either competition 5 minutes, but he's driving straight into the pits. Can see Cole, what's going on down in the Pullenbury camp, mate?
Stephen, we're not too sure. The boys seem to have been having a bit of an issue throughout the day, and oh, there we go. Look, something very simple. The intercooler pipe has come off. He's lost boost out there. That's obviously a bit of a shame for Cody, who's starting to get the feel of the car. But look at that. We can see just here, the intercooler clamp has just popped off, so he would have been running no boost, no power, especially with how much grip these cars have. You've got to have that.
I think that's confirmation Cody's back on boost. Well, straight into Casper we go, and it's Cody Pullenbury who leads the way. Andrew Redwood said having none of it. If he's going to go out and drift, he's going to go knocking on the door. And Cody, hard up it, setting a score, but that's not going to be enough right now. Redwood doing a great job.
Redwood doing a clean job in the chase there. He knows he's got a little bit of advantage. He's a pretty experienced driver, so he kept it nice and clean.
Set our score. It's in the judges' hands. Left for Andrew Redwood, right for Cody Pullenbury. 1, 2, 3 strikes, and the Nankang Tyres FC RX-7 will head into the next round. Well, let's see how they go. Darren, we know he's got an R35 with an RB34. It's a 3.4 stroker, so certainly not struggling for horsepower at well over 900. There you go, Russell. Go up and...
Well, look, we were talking about the mind games on the rolling start. So here we go. I was just going to say, everyone likes a underdog battle, so here we go. Darren Kelly leading out in the big power R35. Although opening up a fair bit of a gap here, but for the chase car, if you're a little bit down a parry, a little bit slower, just stick to that qualifying line. If you can do that, you'll still score well.
So Darren just setting a smoke show and having some fun out there, and as they come through, definitely a better inside clip for Russell, but he has been kept in a smoke show with Darren Kelly flying away. Now, if I was Russell, I'd just pull back a little bit and then go. You could balk the man up front, but it's, as you say, you can use mind games a little bit in this one here. And look at the difference between No Guards S14 and that monster R35.
Darren Kelly putting on a bit of a chase run here. He's not afraid of chasing a slower car, so Darren Kelly getting up on the rear quarter here, and great drive too from Russell Veer, just sticking to his line, putting on a good drive. A little bit off that clip, opens the door for Darren to just shallow up a bit and get up side by side. So a great drive, a great battle from these guys. Swipe left for Darren Kelly, swipe right for Russell Veer, and Brennan Dunker, Joel Counter, Chris Howard, all swiping in favour of Darren Kelly, who gets to move through to the top 8. Thorley fresh from winning Drift South yesterday at Levels, now giving chase to the 20B rotary machine of Adam Davies. Oh, Michael Thorley's gone for a real sharp cut on the transition, so he saw some kind of opportunity. Adam Davies leading out, Thorley's dropped back a little. We'll have to have a look at that in the replay as they exit the section. Pretty fast, wild run there from the pair of them.
Michael Thorley, he's doing a nice job at the front, so he needs to try and force poor old Thorley. But Adam Davies just holding back a little bit, comes into switch.
Yeah, good run here again for the pair of them. Adam Davies trying to close the door right on the exit there, rolling burnout to finish.
Never blew up.
The 13B was a pretty trusty car, wasn't it?
There you go, 1, 2, and Chris Howard makes it 3 strikes in form of Adam Davies. So back up to our next battle, which should have been Liam Burke versus Danum. Danum out, Liam taking the pass through. So it will be the Ford Mustang RT Aspect 5D of Whangadown Morehouse by Century Batteries and Cashman New Zealand, going up against the Achilles Radial Mag Turbo S13 of Bruce Tannock.
Whole different beast to the Coyote powered Mustang, which we saw at round 1. Bruce Tannock, of course, still hasn't really got a rubber mark or a scratch on that car, so maybe Fanga might do that in his chase run.
Let's hope so. It's always needed.
Oh, maybe it's Brucey that's going to do it, because he is pushed off, and Whangadown leading out. Where was Brucey going?
Brucey's just going where Bruce needs to go. He's got the grip of those Achilles. Best tyre, he told me. So, what happened this time?
He's done it again, so he's having trouble there. Bruce Tannock, perhaps...
way too much grip. Those tyres are just magnificent. They're just, you've got to go up and probably work on the tyre pressures, Bruce. All right, get through the Ascensium acceleration zone, and then we'll head through the Repco flags into Casper Transmissions and see if Fanga can put a donut on the door of the Magnum Turbo S13.
Bruce Tannock now leading out as they fire on through the first transition out of zone. Clip on the left-hand side of the track. Fanga's pushed wide and smoked a little bit there, but he's lined himself back up. Oh, he's actually pushed well off, so he was well offline. So I thought that was going away from him there halfway through the section, so he got caught in the smoke there. Brought way too much heat into the clipping point 3, that outer zone. And, well, that's going to force
That's going to be, yeah, they're great. Let's see what Brendan Dunker, Joel Counter and Chris Howard have to say. One more time, one more time, one more time. We are going again.
Scott Dinsdale taking the lead lane as higher qualifier. In behind is an RB30. Trying to give chase, and check this out from Gargan King. He's flying well off the track, so...
he's going to come back on. Stop.
That looked like a wild ride. That
was scary. The thing that was...
Scotty. Scotty's had a moment as well, so...
That's 0-0. What's happened here? And Taylor James won't be happy either. Hello.
Hello.
So he needed to finish, and he hasn't. So this is 0-0. So it's going to come down to essentially this next run. Well, this is essentially the battle that is going to decide the winners. I mean, it's literally a sudden death, one more run style battle in this situation here, unless we see a 0-0.
Gargan entering, stacks it on. Scott Dinsdale keeping himself a little bit clean on the entry there. Check out this awesome view, and almost gives it, he does, he love taps him, holds it, and he's dropped back, so now he's trying to claw back track positions. Gargan Kang doing a great job to fend him off, unfazed by the little love tap, and Scott Dinsdale putting on a wild chase run. What a run.
Oh, Scotty D never fails. Those ones there will get thrown out. It's just literally who do you think is going to win and who doesn't. Scotty D, Gargan Kang, Brendan Dunker, Joel Counter, Chris Howard. Wow, we've got, it's an OMT.
Wow. Well, it's really challenging. We haven't been at this track for 2 or so years, so coming back here, the cars are getting faster. We've got more grip in these things, and it's been a real eye-opener this morning. Trying to keep the tyre on the car for 2 laps and not blowing it off pretty much before you even get to the finish, you know. So we've run through some scenarios. It depends on what you really want to do. Who you're versing, Cole, as you would know. Yep. Some other people are a lot faster, and it also demands a lot more on the tyre. So yeah, it's crazy. Some people get more laps than others on their different brands and that sort of thing. But you know, you've got to find that sweet spot of the chassis of the car and also your driving style. And at the same time, you've got to be really conservative with the tyre wear, because otherwise you'll run out at the end of the track, and you won't be able to walk away or keep that gap that you might have created.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, you know, front suspension in this thing, you have to play around with it very much. Obviously, I'm not going to give you any tips because, you know, don't want you getting too good. But, you know, you guys playing around with it a lot out here. Obviously, a lot faster track, some higher bumps.
Definitely, there's a lot of bumpiness in that sweeper. Yeah, the car's wailing around when you're, I don't know, probably 140, 150 in top gear, you know. So you do have to set the front up a little bit differently, whether or not you want to raise it or lower it, depending on the track or what we're going to do. But it's definitely a polar opposites of doing what we did a month ago at Mount Smart, isn't it?
Definitely, man. Obviously, the car is looking really smooth out there. So the boys are doing something right in behind the scenes. I know you guys are always swinging spanners on these cars. They're looking immaculate.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, working with Carter's on the door and try and put some results on. So, We've got an amazing team, as everyone does behind them here and behind the scenes. So yeah, we're stoked to keep them immaculate, and this is how they turn up to every event. So we're pretty happy.
Hey, well, you got second, in that last round. So hey, mate, hats off to it. Go hard for this next battle and have a bit of fun. But shot for that out, Benny.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
All right, thanks, Carl. Let's move on back to the OMT between Dan Woolhouse and Bruce Tannock.
Dan Woolhouse, Bruce Tannock in the 1-2-3, giving chase now. Sudden death from these guys. A little bit cleaner than the first lap that we saw. Dan putting on a pretty good drive here, getting right out to the edge of the track, using all of the track available. Bruce Tannock goes for the dive and cuts way too much out of his line there, and that will be a penalty.
So advantage, I mean, it was very clean to start with, right up to that last turn, so Bruce will be kicking himself. Bruce straight into action there. And getting up on the gas. Bruce absolutely billowing smoke up.
Yeah, Brucey not quite matching that wider line that Fanga was able to produce in the other pass. So this could actually be a tight decision here. And I'm going to leave that to the judges. And 3 strikes in favour of Dan Woolhouse. Unanimous decision from our judges. Sudden death, and Fanga Dan will move through. Here we go with Scott Dinsdale leading out Gargan Kang. Gargan Kang pushing way off at clipping point 2, and that's going to cost him. Scotty D just needs to finish the run here and doing a great qualifying line. Puts a wheel up on the curb, just teases it a little bit. So Scott Dinsdale in the 808 S13, based out of Northland, is looking strong so far.
So Gargan comes through, nice step through into the left-hander. Scotty's chucked the wheel off.
He's just chucked the wheel off, but great chase drive here in terms of proximity. Really good run here from the pair of them again. So these guys in an OMT. Oh, mistake from Scotty D.
What is that going to do? They both made ridiculous mistakes. That is a sudden death OMT. The straight line, essentially, isn't that a 0 score?
I don't think there was much of a straight. It was a correction, but not so much a straight line.
All right, comes down to the judges, though, between Scotty D and Gargan Kang. Which way are they going to choose? And it is 1, 2, 3 strikes to the left. Scotty D will go through into the next round. So straight into the Casper zone they go. And big aggressive switching from both these drivers. Jesse absolutely peddling it.
Both of these cars are fairly fast. Jesse Greenslade out in the front, just putting on a real aggressive run. And Jenkins just nearly caught himself out there a little bit. It is a hard transition off that clipping point 3 through to 4 and 5, so that we will see more of that, no doubt, as the day progresses. So they make their way through that Sensium rolling start.
And that's a clean start by Ben Jenkins. See how he sets himself up to come through into the Valvoline midsection.
There was a little bit of a waiver there, which opened the door for Jesse Greenslade to suck up a bit, but then he fell away at clipping point 2. So
yeah, Jesse's showing up a little bit, but that's all about gaining back that proximity, and he's going to get right up on it as they come through to finish.
Beautiful job at the end there by Jesse Greenslade off that last
and a drag race.
And a drag race to finish. The Nissans kept him.
A decision here, and it looks like we're ready to go. Is it going to be Jesse Greenslade? Will it be Ben Jenkins? And we've got 2 strikes in the way of Ben Jenkins. Takes the win. Great angle straight up from Taylor James. Comes through and hits his clips back into the Valvoline midsection. Really needs to bring that car up to the top end of the track, and he's done a great job there as well. Hopefully no dirt turbos. Man, this is a qualifying run up front.
Pretty good run up front. I mean, I was just going to say, both of these cars both have a bit of pace. So Red Bull's car, despite probably the power difference, has a bit of pace in it.
All right, let's see what Andrew Redwood can do from the start, and a nice early transitions into work he goes. Inside, outside, comes through and sets himself up on the left-hander, up through the Valvoline midsection.
It's ridiculous how fast that FC actually is, but you also have to remember he doesn't dial on a hell of a lot of angle in certain areas, so bit of a gap there. Taylor James sort of hanging back and sticking to a qualifying line.
Both of these drivers, I mean, neither of them have got a clue which way it's going to go. Let's have a look. Brendan Dunker, Joel Counter, Chris Howard, the judges. Are they going to go left or right? We've got 1 strike for Andrew Redwood, 1 strike for Taylor James, but 2 strikes for Andrew Redwood. He will go through.
Dave Steedman now leads out Kurt Blackie. Another Nissan versus GT86 battle, although it's a V8 in behind. Team DSR boys were here on Friday with a bit of early testing. Kurt Blackie spent his test sessions just dialing the car in, but
there's
a bit of a mistake there, and Dave Steedman just needs to complete his lead run here. Kurt Blackie tries to rectify his mistake with a bit more aggression on the last scoring zone, so a little bit wild from the KVNZ GT86.
Of course, Dave Steedman, but at least we know with Team DSR nothing's a problem. And
a little bit of understeer or wheel lock up there from Dave Steedman, getting right and close to the rear end of that GT86, which has pushed wide, which has opened the door again here for Dave Steedman to get up into a chase position. So Kurt Blackie.
Yeah, it's almost like Kurt made that was a clinical mistake that really gave an opportunity back for Dave, and he took it, didn't he?
Bit of toing and froing there.
Well, it's going to go to the hands of the judges. Will it be Dave Steedman? Is it going to be Kurt Blackie? 1, 2, 3 strikes, and Dave Steedman goes through.
The heart of racing will lead out Darren Kelly, 2-time former champ. Adam Davies coming in hot. Doesn't quite perhaps get the transition as well as he would have liked. He's well offline here, and this is going to
really shallowing up.
Yeah, it just gives him that opportunity to close up on these last 2 clips, but he's going to be marked down heavily for being well offline, and again, the smoke probably playing into that.
The heart of racing going up against the Mimico machine. And let's see when he's pushed the button. Adam Davies is off and away. And they're side by side into, look, here comes Darren Kelly. He is right on the bumper of Adam Davies.
Oh, fantastic chase run here from Darren Kelly, but I think he almost just locked himself out there of following that line that he would like to have been on, but he's kept the proximity here and the fluidity, pops the wheel up on the curb. Great drive here from Adam Davies.
All right, let's go to the judges. Brendan Dunker, Joel Counter, and Chris Howard. Are we going to choose Darren Kelly in the Heart of Racing machine? Will it be Adam Davies in the Mimico car? But 1, 2, 3 strikes in the favour of Darren Kelly. Northland versus Northland, and a quick entry by Liam Burke straight into action. Here comes Fanger closing the door up, tries to tuck in underneath, washes out a bit. Liam Burke running the top shelf. Fanger really closing up to try and gain back that proximity.
Fanger's had to switch a little early there, and under the smoke has pushed him out wide, though he's gone off the track at the exit. And Liam Burke has just set a blinder of a run, really. He came in real hot on the entry. Liam certainly bringing some aggression. The Animal, 2JZ, S13, giving chase to the Roush Yates 900 horsepower Ford Mustang RTR, which has opened up 2 or 3 car lengths on him.
Oh, Fanger as wide can be. He's chucking on the angle. I thought Andrew Redwood was the angle king.
Liam's done a great job to stay on that left-orientated line and actually kept him out of the smoke there, so he's done a great job in the chase run. Fanger Dan certainly setting a wild lead run there, and unfortunately, I think that's going to hand the advantage to Liam, though. I don't think the points will sway enough.
Well, it's all about finding the limits, and Fanger did that. Let's see what the judges say. 1, 2, 3 strikes to Liam Burke. Well, it's the real estate by Pauline Dinsdale. Team 13S13 of Scotty D. Scotty Dinsdale going up against Ben Jenkins, the 857 in the Carter's North Shore Toyota Parts. GT86 2JV2J.
Oh, Scotty D pushing real wide, opens the door here for Ben Jenkins. Gets back up on a judge's line through this last part of the section. Ben Jenkins goes for a little bit of a dive here.
Scotty goes through the rest of the car as he's reset down at the hairpin and powers off down the straight.
Well, great stuff there from Scott Dinsdale and Team 13 crew. Scotty D drifting, all the hands jumping in from all around the pit lane to get this car back out on track. We're inside the top 8. It's Scotty D versus Ben Jenkins. Scotty D coming in real hot here, looking for a big chase run, wants to swap some paint, and Ben Jenkins leading out in the 8.57. Scotty D still managing to keep things together, but I think it's all fell away from him there, and that was a good effort from all the crew to get the car ready, and Scotty D just put it on the line. He sent it. Who will move through to the semi-finals? Scott Dinsdale, Ben Jenkins. And Ben Jenkins gets a unanimous decision and will move through into the top 4. Dave Steedman, Andrew Redwood.
Well, let's see what the Mimico Napa Auto Parts RB-powered S14 can do up front. Here comes Andrew Redwood in the Nankang SCRX7. Again, at shallow lines to try and close back and gain back that proximity. And there he is knocking on the door as they come through the hairpin here.
Just bringing some heat in the chase game. Andrew Redwood here trying to get up on that RB out in front.
And look, straight away, absolutely is so quick on it, and he's got himself a 15-car gap between himself and Dave Steedman.
That car is ridiculously quick. As I keep saying, it's deceiving. And Dave Steedman, I think, has been caught out here. He's all over the place. So Dave Steedman trying to claw back some track position, gets there at the end of the last clipping point, but wow, what a start from Andrew Redwood.
Here we go, here we go.
Wow, there you go. And that's how tough it was. So OMT.
Here comes Andrew Redwood, and really needs to just make sure he just calms that head down. What he's doing right now is the perfect chase. Great line getting set up, and a mistake up there.
There's that transition that we've seen time and time again so far this afternoon with the smoke. So there comes, big aggressive attack here from Andrew Redwood. Bumper flies off the car. What a show at the end. Wow. Second pass, top 8 OMT here between Andrew Redwood and Dave Steedman. Steedman trying to cut up here onto Andrew Redwood. Redwood just sort of opened up some cullings again, and there we go. Steedman's battling a little bit there through the midsection. Manages to get back into some form of proximity here on the final clip. Tries to give him a love tap at the end.
I think he did it.
He might have just given his bumper a nudge there. Bit of bumper on bumper. Certainly, I think all the drivers and teams will be having a big discussion over a few beers about it.
Well, let's see what Andrew Redwood gets the strike. 1, 2, 3. Andrew Redwood takes the win.
Darren Kelly, 3.4 litre stroked RB up against the 2JZ, the animal from Northland. A bit of Northland versus Auckland, I guess. South Auckland.
Well, straight into action he goes with Darren Kelly leading out. Comes in to switch. Early switch for Liam Burke. Liam trying to get on the bumper. That's a great chase run. Darren gets right up where the judges want to. Liam again, is he going to close up and put a mark on the 35? Look at that.
Awesome little chase run there from Liam Burke. Just sucked right up and just hung right there, inches from the lead car. Both of them side by side through the rolling start as we gear up into the initiation zone. Both of them entering early and stacking on angle, as does Liam Burke. And look who's right there. Darren Kelly right off the back bumper, then gets up on the door. What a chase run here from Darren Kelly, putting in a return serve on Liam Burke. What a run through the last 2 scoring zones. Darren drops down, carnage, and wow, Liam Burke spun, and the contact a little bit too much from Darren Kelly.
I'm swaying in the way of Liam Burke, but I mean, as you say, it could be considered something different depending on what they think. Let's have a look at the result, Kenny.
And there we are, Liam Burke gets the victory. So Darren Kelly indeed causing that contact, and pretty unanimous decision, really.
Let's go down to semi-final number 2. Ben Jenkins in the Carter Tyre Service NST Parts 2JZ Power GT86 will lead out the Nankang FCRX7 of Andrew Redwood. The speed of the FC up against the 2JZ.
More carnage is the... I mean, that cut... Wow, okay, I'm calling track condition change here. Because this has just gone off.
This has just gone off, and like as I alluded to earlier in the day, sometimes the temp sort of rolls off at the end of the day, but here at Manfeild, but there could be other issues going on as well. I mean, that's tough. As the boys make their way back around the Sensium acceleration zone, and here we go again. Second half now, top 4 action semi-final. Andrew Redwood now leads out Ben Jenkins. 2JZ versus V8 action.
And straight into task, Andrew Redwood absolutely throwing on the angle and stepping on it. Ben Jenkins trying to fight back again, going for, well, not as shallow as some of the other drivers has. He might try and close it up here. No, he's just using the speed of the 2JZ. Comes through to try and close up. A nice job by Andrew up front. And who would be a judge? Judges' decision. Brendan Duncan, Joel Counter and Chris Howard, the 3 judges. Which way are they going to strike? 1, 2, 3 unanimous, with Andrew Redwood taking the win.
Making their way through, Darren Kelly taking the lead as higher qualifier. Took pole position in qualifying earlier today. And we are inbound to the first transition.
And a fast switch for Darren Kelly. Here comes Ben Jenkins.
Nearly maybe a wheel off foot. Ben Jenkins rides it up on the curb, so he cut his line a little bit here. Darren Kelly doing a great job out in front. A few car lengths to the lead car though, and well, fairly clean compared to what we've seen over the last few battles, and we'll go to the second pass. R35 GTR 3.4 litre stroked straight 6 turbo, and then right alongside is another refresh package as well, that GT86, the Carter's machine of Ben Jenkins. 2JZ versus RB. Ben Jenkins now leads out.
And here comes Darren Kelly. Darren really trying to close up the gap as they come through the S's. Up through Valvoline they go. Comes through and switches. Hard on the gas, both of these drivers. A bit shallow for Ben. That's allowing Darren the opportunity to come through and slow the gap up.
Great drive there from Darren Kelly. Just right in the pocket, and wow.
Was that a kiss at the end? I certainly hope it was.
Will it go in favour of Darren Kelly in the R35 GTR or Ben Jenkins in that 2JZ powered GT86?
Well, it goes to the judge's decision. What's Brendan Duncan, Joel Counter and Chris Howard got to say? 1, 2, 3 strikes. Darren Kelly takes 3rd place. Round number 2 of the Valvoline D1NZ. We get ready to set them green. Forget the rest, you've got the best. The Valvoline D1NZ National Drifting Championship, round number 2, Circuit Chris Amon. It's final time!
Liam Burke and Andrew Redwood, the defending champion, the 2020 New Zealand champion, lined up against the round 1 winner. What will come of this first pass here? Liam Burke, the current 1NZ, Andrew Redwood, the fast FC RX-7, giving chase to that 2JZ powered animal machine, the S13.
Absolutely flying as they go through the Valvoline S's. Coming up right in the high line, Andrew Redwood though just comes through and tries to close up the gap, coming through his final time, and this is the first half of the battle done. Time to switch places. Let's do it all over again.
Andrew Redwood, Liam Burke. Andrew leading out the 2JZ S13, which is stacking on angle in the rear and trying to hunt down that FCRXM. But correction, big correction from Andrew Redwood. So toing and froing. Liam Burke was a little offline in the chase too, out of clipping point 2, I think. So
here goes, and this is for your winner. 1, 2, 3 strikes to Liam Burke. He is the winner of round 2 of the Valvoline D1NZ National Drifting Championship Series. Well, Manfeild Circuit Chris Amon certainly putting on the action today, the Valvoline D1NZ National Drifting Championship Series. It's prize-giving time, ready to spray the champagne as we welcome up in 3rd place, the harder racing R35 GTR pilot, the 2-times champion, Darren Kelly in 3rd place. In 2nd place, the Nankang FC RX-7 pilot. It is Andrew Redwood, and the winner of round 2 of the Valvoline D1NZ National Drifting Championship, the animal, the 2JZ S13 pilot, Liam Burke.
Yeah, this week's been a hell of a week, Steve. Some sleepless nights. Massive shout out to a few of my sponsors, major ones, Measure Up Flooring, John Atwood Customs, Link, 247 Motorsport Plumbing Supplies, Cotchell and Ross. You guys are just legends. thanks to everyone for coming. I mean, it's wicked having the crowd here, and it's great being able to put on a show for you guys.
What a fantastic event we've had, crowning ourselves a round 2 champion. I don't know, mate, how are you feeling?
I'm pretty tired actually. I've done a lot of walking up and down this pit lane, you know. I meant to stay down here, but the boys have been having a lot of carnage. Obviously, we got to see it. It was cool. It was impact. It was, I don't even know the words, bro. I'm lost.
Well, thank you to Repco New Zealand, of course, looking after the broadcast of the Valvoline D1NZ National Drifting Championship. That was round 2. Circuit Chris Amon. Look forward to seeing you in Christchurch.